Welcome all. This is Srimai Majumdar from Swami Vivekananda Institute of Modern Science. I have been dealing with business communication and I have been putting up videos on various aspects of business communication. And this part will be on speech process. What do we understand by speech process? Speaking is very natural, absolutely spontaneous process in our daily life. But what is speech process? When we use the word process, it is obvious that there is a science or there is a planning behind it, and this is required when we are in the corporate world or when we are in the formal atmosphere where speech has to be controlled, speech has to be perfect, and speech has the objective of the speech is to reach out to someone. That should be fulfilled. Therefore, we shall discuss why speech is important, what strategies we should take up, which tools should be used to make our speech perfect. In this process, the first step that we should deal with is selection of the message. We generally, in a formal setup, it can be office, it can be a seminar hall, it can be a classroom situation, it can be an official meeting also. In such places, which medium should we take up to put up our message? This is important. Should it, if it is oral, what kind of language? If it is the senior man, what kind of approach? Or if it is among the in a parallel platform, what kind of language, what kind of body language should we use? These are very important aspects of selection of the message. Is it semi-formal? If it is semi-formal, then it will have a different approach. Immediately after, the next step is to identify the audience. Who are the listeners? What is the background, the age group, the gender, the academic background? What kind of talk they are interested in? How much knowledge do they have to listen to me? Do they have personal preferences? Is it for a professional? Is it a professional audience? What is their objective in listening to me? All these are to be identified before we step into the process of speaking. What is style? Style is how we present ourselves. It can be dress, it can be facial expression, it can be our own approach to talk. The style of talking is very, very important in the process of speech. After the audience is analyzed, we have to understand what kind of speech is required, what kind of style is required. Are we making a presentation from the marketing point, from the sales point of view, or is it a religious gathering where we are talking about the higher force? Are we talking to children whom we want to train something? So, the style of talking to adults and the style of talking to children would be totally different. Therefore, the style has to be chosen after analyzing the requirement and the other aspects of the audience. What is speech style? By speech style, we mean the manner in which the content is presented. Should it be formal? Should it be semi formal? Supposing we are in a kindergarten school, our approach to the subject matter should be mixed with a little playful attitude and a little bit of teaching. But if we are in a seminar, an adult seminar, it requires lot of explanation, lot of interactive session, and therefore it is extremely formal. The language, our expressions, our movements, everything has a particular style in two different setups. Therefore, variations are needed. By variations, we mean the changes which are required according to the situation. If we are at a religious gathering, our expression, our speech style would be totally different from an academic seminar. Therefore, the variations have to be kept in mind. After the initial selection, we must have a checklist. This checklist includes encoding and feedback. By encoding, we mean the process of selecting the language, the appropriate oral form, the positive non-verbal signals which will be associated with the verbal expression. So, this encoding is very much necessary. For example, in a kindergarten school, when the teacher is teaching nursery rhymes, her body language would be totally different if another teacher is teaching in an engineering institute. Therefore, the encoding of our speech pattern is absolutely an absolute necessity. It should be perfect. Supposing we are in a different milieu, for example, if we are in a rural setup and if we are training about health and hygiene in a rural setup, our body language and our vocabulary would be totally different from a corporate setup. And thereby, the feedback would be dependent totally on our encoding, on our choice of the speech pattern or the process. Through the feedback, we would understand if the message has been successfully delivered. With this, we conclude the first part of the speech process. Keep in touch. I hope you have understood the first part of this segment. Thank you and continue to listen to us. Have a good day.